Wow. I'm so happy to be here. Kitty is such a wonderful spirit. She really is. Uh, so I'm honored to step in for her. I've met her a couple of times. I had the pleasure of being in her presence twice. And in both cases, it was a wonderful experience. She's just a good spirit. Wow. Now, this morning, I shared with folks that there's kind of a mix up in unity. You know, there's some folks that do the traditional unity 12 powers, and there's some other folks that do a 12 powers, but they changed it up a little bit. So when Kitty called me, reached out to me and said, you know, I want you to do a talk. We just finished the series, whatever you want to do. And I'm in the habit of making sure that each month I talk about the powers in some manner. And so I said, okay. And I was talking to my prayer partner and earlier in the week, and he said, you know, I was at a Unity in Detroit, and I was going out to do love because February is love. And they said, oh, no, we don't do that. We're back at the old way, and February is not love, it's strength. I said, okay. You know, I didn't trust him, so I pulled up the old chart, and sure enough, it was. So by the time I talked with Kitty and I hung up and everything, I said, I don't want to call her back because she's working on, you know, getting her lungs and her voice in the proper order. I said, so what should I do? And I was on the phone with my wife, and she said, you know, that would be nice if you talked about love and strength. And I said, get out of here. That's exactly what I was going to talk about, you know? Go ahead. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to take the strength and the love. And I found out as I work with the lesson that you cannot have love without strength. Now, see, you say, I don't know. I don't know how that works. The next time that someone does something to you that you do not like and that you used to love, realize that it's going to take all your strength to hold that love in place for that person. You do need them both. And the beauty of them all, of all 12 powers, is the fact that they're all spiritual powers. Now let's understand what that means. We think that these 12 powers, we have the wonderful chart. Have you ever seen the chart? It's so colorful and she's up there like that and everything. Those powers are not necessarily in that position. They're just kind of trying to tell you. And more than anything else, they're not your powers. They're powers that are to be expressed through you, and they are spiritual powers, just as the God, divine, however you see this universal power, is invisible. So what does that mean? Well, that means that I have the potential, that you have the potential of expressing all 12 of those powers in any order that you would like to express them. And it is through their expression that you show God. So when you thought, because you're going to thought that now, you're not going to think it going forward because you're going to know better. So you thought that it was your love that you were given. You don't have any love. I don't have any love. I have access to the love of God, that song, that beautiful song. I'm living in God's love now, you see. Not my love. You don't want our kin to love you because it's flaky. I might have a bad day, you know. You did nothing to me and I'm snapping at you. We're wondering why. Because I've lost my connection, conscious connection with what love really is. It was never mine to give. You see, if you think it's yours to give, you get stingy with it, right? Someone comes and asks you, would you loan me $1? You look at your wallet and you say, oh, I don't know. I got 10, I think I want to keep 10. Now, if I had 11, I'd give you one, right? But this love that we have is God's love that works through us, and we can never give it all away. Never. No matter what we do, there's always going to be more. The more you use God's stuff, the more God gives you. You have a well, a spiritual well that's always being replenished and filled. So about these 12 powers. I know none of you came today to go to pharmaceutical college or pharmacy college, did you? Nobody came for that? Good. I'm going to give you a quick one anyway. You're all pharmacists. As metaphysicians, we have to be pharmacists We have 12 powers, and now we know that we put them together in a capsule of life in any proportion we need at the given time we need it. So we can take a little bit of love and a little bit of strength and put it in a capsule and take it for that day's life. You see, and tomorrow we might not need the love or the strength. We might need some wisdom, and we'll make another compound of wisdom and power. So whatever it is we need, we have access to all that God has for us to use and combine in any way that we want. That's a beautiful thing. So I was able to combine strength and love. And then as I did the research, I said, I have to do some Bible. And we talk about Bible when we have this ministers' meeting. You don't know what we say about Bible in the ministers' meeting. Woo! It's not that bad, really. But the scripture that we all know about, 1 Corinthians, when Paul talks about love, right? Oh my goodness, right? He talks about love, and it's not this and it is, that is patience, and it's all that. I have it here. I'm going to read a little bit, but I want to get the mood set first. He's telling us what it is, right? And we read it, and then we put the book down just for a moment, and we meditate on it, and patience, understanding. We just go through it. It's like, yes, And then we get up and we move forward, and we try to take that out in our lives. We try to use that and share that with people as we walk and talk through our daily activities. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It is not rude. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. Really? It keeps no record of wrongs. Wouldn't your children like to hear that? You don't keep any record of wrong, Mom? Dad? Oh, let's do some more. So you may not know this, but that's a challenge for us. The Bible is challenging us to live that. And it's possible, but it takes strength to live that as the challenges come forth in our life, come forward in our life. How can I be patient? I must be stronger. I need more faith. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand, because when people raise their hand about I need more faith, and then I tell them what I tell them, then they do like that with their hand. I didn't raise my hand. There is no more faith for you to get. There is no more strength for you to get. There is no more love for you to get. You have all that you're ever going to get. When are you going to use it? Because God has given us everything we need. It says so in so many books. And if God has given us everything we need, then there's no more we're going to get. So there must be something else that we have to do. We have to learn how to use what we already have. And more of it will pour through us. I've never gone into Jewel's. I've never gone into Mariano's and found on the shelves, faith, have a can. None of them. Because we already possess them. And it's the use of them that increases it. And that's kind of contradictory to our kind of thinking, right? Well, I know if I use up all my bread and my milk and then I'm out of it. But it doesn't work that way with this spiritual principles. The more I use, the more I get. The stronger they become. You get that? The stronger they become. There's a parable in the Bible that you may have heard, and I don't do a lot of like Scripture 3:7, book 3:9. I can't. I know it's in there though. My mentor Johnny Coleman used to say, "It's in the book. Go read it." Good enough for her, right? So in there's a parable about a master giving his slaves, or his servants rather, some talents. And one of the servants gets 1 talent. And the master comes back and says, what did you do? And one of them says, I did this, I did that. And it comes to the one and he said, I buried mine and here it is. And the master says, oh, that's terrible. And that's the scary thing about the Bible. Sometimes it's just some things, it's like what he does to that servant. It's like, oh, you wretched thing. But the picture that you want to get in your mind is that God has given you talents, given us all talents. will we use them? And when we do use them, they multiply. And when we don't use them, they stay the same. You see? Real easy lesson. They stay the same. So if we take that lesson and understand the more I love, the more love comes to me. And I have to learn to use God's love and stop using my love, because God's love is impersonal. My love is not impersonal. I will meet somebody today at the toll booth somewhere along the way and I say, I don't love that person. No. It will happen. I'm human. But if I move my human self out the way, if I take my ego and say, they really didn't know me well enough to insult me, if I do some things like that, I can allow that impersonal love of God coming through, because that person is also a child of God. You see, I have to understand that each one of you are a child of God, no matter what you think, no matter what you believe, no matter what you think about me. And that way I can allow that love of God that flows through me to come to you. You see, because I may not be able to love you. You may have on an outfit that I just can't stand. There are colors I don't like. I can't understand how you're wearing orange and pink together. But if I allow the divine presence of God to come in, I'm beyond the orange and pink, and I see who you really are. Now, what does that mean? Because sometimes that's scary. That means I have to walk around and turn the other cheek. No. I grew up on the south side of Chicago. If you keep turning your other cheek, you keep getting smacked. So at some point, you have to understand, I just need to walk away from a situation because I can't handle what's going on, and I must express God's love, and it's not working in this particular situation. If I ever come back to speak here again, thank you. I was getting ready to tell on you, but you'll know that if you say something, he was probably going to tell it. But the prayer minister said, I'm just feeling icky. I'm just feeling icky. She said, so let's pray. And after the prayer, after the energy, said, I feel so much better. And we could see the ickiness going through the ceiling. What does that mean? What does that mean? That means that there are times that we're going to be challenged, and we have to call on, we have to have the strength. She had the strength to say, I feel icky. Now, that's kind of hard to say in the midst of ministers and other spiritual people. But when you have the strength to say, I'm going to confront whatever it is that I have to deal with, and I'm going to let Spirit take me where I need to go, you find that it works. That's strength, you see. Because the strength is spiritual too. It comes from God also. So you're using all this God stuff to make what you want. Now, I don't know how to break this to you. Each and every one of us is an expression of that God stuff. We have a spiritual DNA. Spirit meaning I just can't see it. So don't get too hung up on spirit. We had to talk about that this morning to let people know if you see spirit, it's okay. It's invisible, but you might see it. It's all right. Don't feel bad. Didn't want anybody running up to me telling me, I see spirit all the time and you're crazy. No, it's okay. But spirit is invisible. And so because it is invisible, all the aspects of spirit are also invisible. They are only visible when we choose to express them. Wow. Only then. And if we express them from where we are, I'm talking about me now. No one in here. You're all beautiful people. If I express it from where I am, my ego's going to jump in. My past experiences are going to jump in. What I think is going to happen to me tomorrow is going to jump in. The futures, all of these things. But when I'm able to move myself aside and say, hey, y'all, let's help me get better. My ego has left the building. And that impersonal love, that impersonal strength, that impersonal joy that God has and can give, I've given it a path, I've given it the right, I've given it the privilege to flow through me. That's what I've done. That's what we have the responsibility of doing. Giving God permission to work in us. How about that? How many people? No, I'm not going to ask you that, because if you don't raise your hand, I will point you out. You don't want God to work through you. I don't want to do that one. No, I'm not going to do it. But give God permission to work through you. You have to do that. All the ministers, teachers, psychologists, doctors, no one can do that. Only you. I wish there was someone that could have done it for me. And you probably wish there was someone that could have done it for you. But let's forgive them. Let's release them from the prison that we've held them in. Mama didn't allow me, daddy didn't allow me, cousin didn't allow me, wife didn't allow me, husband didn't allow me, child didn't allow me, whatever. Release them and understand I have the power to release the aspects of God in me right now, in this life, no matter what, no matter where, no matter how I am right now. God loves us right now. And that's the love that we have that we can allow to flow through us. The love God has for us, we can let it flow through to anybody else. It's our right. Johnny Coleman used to say, prosperity is my birthright. I say, God is your birthright. And all that God is your birthright. And if you've been short-circuiting yourself and not giving yourself enough love and not using the aspect of strength to get you over the hump, if you've been doing that, forgive yourself. It's in the book. Jesus said, forgive yourself. What they say? They said, how you going to go around forgiving people? He said, anybody can. You have to just do it. We don't have to wait for you, priests, to forgive us. So forgive yourself and move forward. Forgive yourself and love yourself. Forgive yourself and be able to love others with God's love. Now, usually when this happens, people run out. They go find people that they really have been mad at for a long time, and they go up to them, I love you so much, and the person doesn't know what the heck they're talking about. In fact, they tend to walk away, get away from like you. I knew that place called Unity was going to drive you crazy one day. Here you come back loving me. You don't have to love me. Because they never knew you didn't love them, you see. It's not for them. It's not for them. It's for you. And you have to be strong enough to say, this love is for me. I know what I was taught in Sunday school. I know what I was taught in college and university. I know what I was taught over here, not to be selfish. But this is my love for me, and I'm going to take every bit of it in and allow it to work and change my life. That's what I'm going to do. And I have the strength to do it. It comes from the same place that the love does. In fact, let me get an easy chair, a glass of water. Thank you very much. A good book, and sit back and let God work through me. Because I'm tired of trying myself. I've had it. I've had it, you know? And there's nothing wrong with I've had it. Because when we say we've had it, God says, been waiting for that. You've been in the way. For the last 35 years, I've tried to make you rich, and you keep getting in the way. I'm so happy that you're moving out the way now. Let me do my thing. Let me go to work. Because my prosperity is for everyone. Because my love is impersonal. I give it to all. And you are deserving. My wife, who's here, I say she's not my better half, she's my better whole, for sure. But Lou knows that I don't like to have people repeat, do the call and response. It brings me back to a church I left. Wasn't there really long, but anyway. But right now, I do feel like we need to commit to the fact that I release and choose to let God work in my life. Can we say that together, please? I release and choose to let God work in my life. Yes. If you only can handle that one day, remember Rhonda. You see, remember you have a Rhonda. So I did it on Sunday, but Monday I just, what did that reverend say? I'm going to smack this boss man. Whatever it might be, remember Rhonda is saying, oh, that's right, Rhonda said it's okay. I can slip. I can slip. I don't have to hold myself to a particular level that I can't continue on, but I can also get back up, right? I can also get back up. Wow. Fillmore tells us that love is the binding force in the universe. Think about that. So all those things that I wanted, and I don't have yet, how much love, impersonal God love, did I put in the mix? How many times did I say, God, you just owe me this? I'm a good Christian. I don't ask that question either. How many people are good Christians? Everybody raises their hand. It's like, not going to be me. It's like, I know I'm in New Thought, but I still wonder about the thunder and the lightning, you know. we try. We try. Some things you can't leave behind. You know, you try. But you are a good Christian. You're practicing what you know. You just want to allow yourself to know more. You say, well, how can I know more? You already do. We limit ourselves. But if we love ourselves and if we allow the love of God to flow through us, then then the limits are removed. You see, when we allow God to work through us, I have to go back to that story. When we allow him, it says, you know, you need to go tell these ministers that you need some help. Then all of a sudden God flows through and you don't know where it comes from. It just works. It just works. So how many people would like God to work in their lives a little bit, just a little bit more, just a little bit more? Got 3 people over here. Is this crowd in? Okay. We all do. We all do. And it's so important that we understand that it's on us. As wonderful a spirit as Reverend Kitty is, she can't do it for you. I drove, 47 minutes I think it took us to get here. That's what the little thing said. My 47 minutes can't help you, can't make it happen for you. I can only be here to open a door. You have to be able to walk through it. You have to have the strength to walk through it. No matter how many times you've tried before, get strong, get that spiritual strength to walk through it. It's a beautiful thing when you express and let God express through you. There's no doubt about it. That's why you're here in unity. That's why you come here. That's why you want a new thought. You did know this was a new thought ministry? One thing about unity and religious science, and I'll take those two in particular. This guy, Abel Allen, I believe his name is, and he wrote this 100 years ago. He says, you know, the only thing about New Thought is that they forget the new part, because it's supposed to evolve and continue to evolve. And as a New Thought practitioner, your thoughts and your consciousness is to continue to evolve. But now you know that you're going to evolve in a consciousness of what? Love. Impersonal, divine love. And stop trying to do it yourself. You can't do it by yourself. You can only walk in through the door. That's it. Through the door. And the rest of it's God. So if you do nothing else today, when you leave here, you don't remember the affirmation, none of that. Just say to yourself, I'm ready to walk through the door. That's all. Just remember, I'm ready to walk through the door. That's one thing. And then the second thing, I have a Rhonda consciousness with me. So if I stumble through the door, I'm okay. For real.